Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are, my friends. Okay, this is an exciting LinkedIn Live. We are so happy, so fortunate, so fulfilled that you all are here with us today. If you are tuning in on the live or if you're going to be watching the replay, please comment and engage with us today. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Give us a shout out, give us a hi, all that good stuff. We are just so thrilled to have you all here. We are on episode 30. I can't believe it. I just want to first off kind of just tell everybody here tuning in, thank you all so much just for your tremendous support throughout FulPhillment LinkedIn Live. It's just been incredible. And and for all the guest speakers we've had up to this point, I really just appreciate everybody. But episode 30, we've got an amazing episode and an amazing powerhouse career coach, good friend of mine, just job search strategist, an amazing person. But we're going to bring up on stage. So, Theresa White is the founder and CEO of Career Bloom Career Coaching, where she guides women. Check this out in her headline. She guides women in discovering what they are meant to do and empower them to find, yes, a fulfilling career. So, we're going to talk today a lot about clarity, right? How to find clarity along your job search within your career and all that good stuff. Just really get to kind of take this time, this hour or so that we're going to have and really focus and fine tune on how we can really find that clarity along your path. And so without further ado, we're going to bring up Theresa White. Theresa, you are live. How are you
Hi, I
doing?
am doing great, Phil. How are you?
Oh, we are doing great. It's 4 o'clock Eastern, so we're of course on the same time zone because I hear you're in
Yes.
Tampa. You're doing okay?
Yeah. Yes, we're doing fine in Tampa. It's been a little rainy, a little bit windy, but nothing more than that. So doing good here.
Very good. Right, because everything happened on the other side, right? So you're
Yeah.
on
I think we're
this
we're
side.
we're on the safe side.
Oh, good. Yeah, I know it's
Well,
we're
thank you
supposed
so
to.
much for the warm introduction. I'm super excited to be here with you today.
Oh, no, I appreciate, your time and for those folks tuning in as well, thank you all for being here. And like I said earlier, this is Fulfillment Live episode 30. We're gonna be talking about some career clarity and all that stuff, and,
Woohoo.
of course, the Career Bloom name. I'm sure I wanna know all about that and everything. But, yeah, if you're tuning in, feel free to send some comments out our way. Let us know what you think about this live, and, we'll go ahead and get started. So, Teresa, I always like to start, guest speakers out and just kind of give us your tell me about yourself kind of question, if you will. So you start us off and tell us a little bit about your story. That'd be awesome.
Sure, of course, I'd be happy to. So I'm originally from Germany. That's usually a question I get quite often where my accent is from. So you don't have to wonder; it's a German accent. But I've been lucky to call Hawaii my home for the last 13 years. But right now, travel to Florida to be with my husband's family. Professionally, I started my career was like an complete roller coaster. I studied sustainability, then started in management, got into HR, was an HR generalist for a long time, then got into recruiting. And throughout that whole career, the whole time I wasn't working in corporate, I was doing good. Like I was successful. I got promoted over and over, but I just wasn't happy. And I know you like that word fulfillment, obviously,
Hmm.
but I just wasn't fulfilled. It just wasn't what I was meant to do. Even though I was good at it, it just left me feeling like drained and empty. And I was miserable for years. I was so unhappy. But I just had no idea what I wanted to do instead. So that's why I kept going where I was. And during that time, I sent out random applications. And I just put a post out not too long ago when I looked back at all the applications I sent out to random jobs that I thought might be a good fit. And obviously, I didn't get any of these job openings because I didn't even know what I wanted to do myself. So I was stuck in that position for a long time and I was really struggling with that. And it wasn't until after I had my daughter I realized like time is too precious to go back to a job that makes me miserable, that makes me unhappy, that also doesn't work for my family, that I really forced myself to do a deep dive and figure out what do I truly want to do? What is it that makes me come alive? And
Mm.
that was a hard process because I tried to doing that on my own. And after a while learned like, no, I do need help to really figure out what am I supposed to do, and reached out to other people and sought that guidance. And then after a while, I started to gain clarity of like, okay, yeah, this is what I want to do with my life. This is what makes me fulfilled. This is where I'm supposed to be. And that's when things just started falling into place. And now I work as a career coach. I have my own business. I'm super, super excited about what I'm doing. I love it. And that's also why I'm so passionate about helping others find that clarity, because it was really, that was the piece that held me back for so long, of not knowing what I wanted to do and then not finding that role. So taking that step back, finding, okay, what is it that I really want to do? And then going after it is really what brought everything in motion for me to find a fulfilling career.
I love it. Yeah, and it's so interesting because we're both very, very similar in that regard. We've got our friend Anna in the house.
Hey, Anna!
Anna. She knows Anna, Anna. So I did
Yay!
a voice audio for her a couple weeks ago. So I had to I had to
Yay!
like Anna. Thank you, friend, for being here.
Oh, I want to hear you sing, Phil.
Oh yeah, maybe in a little bit. Maybe in a little bit. So I love your story. I love how you were in the HR world for quite some time, very, very, very much in a generalist role, really getting to learn the whole scope of the function, especially just
Yeah.
talent development, how to really focus and fine tune those employees in those roles and stuff like that, and then just kind of that transition to being your own coach, which is incredible. Can you kind of talk to us a little bit, right? Because I think based on your experience and stuff, and I guess a lot of at least in what I feel is kind of when it comes to clarity, a lot of that is, like you said earlier, it takes kind of some like self reflection and kind of like taking the time to find that clarity and then
Yeah.
moving forward. So I guess based on your experience, of course, and your coaching and your expertise, could you tell the audience and tell us a little bit about how that process works, within your coaching or, within your expertise?
Of course, yeah. So what I used to dive into the career clarity piece, I made a career compass, and it has six. Thank you, Anna. It has six components to it. So we talk about strength. So if you're familiar with the Gallup Strength Finder, that's
Uh-huh.
where I start drawing out the strength. And we talk about what is it that you are, what that comes to you naturally. What are you uniquely good at? What do you do better than others? And the strength finder can really help give us language to articulate what is it that you do so well. Then the second piece we talk about are skills. In talking about skills, the most important piece to me is not necessarily the skills that you're great at, but what are the skills that energize you? Because looking back at my old career, there were a lot of skills I was good at, but they were draining for me. Like writing job
Mm.
postings, for example, as a recruiter, not my favorite thing, I'll be quite honest. I'm
Yeah,
good at it. I did it a lot. But
yeah.
if you have me write job postings all day long, I'll be drained and quite miserable at the end of the day. So it doesn't necessarily, it's not enough to be good at a skill. It has to be a skill that energizes you. So we take all the skills that someone has and divide them into, okay, what are the ones that you do them for an extended period of time, and then you feel energized and motivated and excited at the end of it? And what are the skills you do for half the day or the full day, and you're just drained and empty and exhausted? And then we focus on the energizing skills. Those are the ones you want to use again. Next piece, we look at what are your interests? Where do you even want to work in? What areas are you interested in?
Hmm.
Then the fourth piece we look at is what makes you come alive. And that's
Mm.
a quick assessment I draw on, and it's called Sparketype. Have you heard of it, Phil?
Um,
Okay,
barely,
David.
but for barely a little bit. I guess for those in the
Yeah.
audience, like what is it?
So the Sparketype it's a free 10-minute assessment,
Hmm.
and it helps you find out what makes you come alive. And that's like, it
Mm.
goes so much in line with my coaching. It really
Hmm.
gives you words. So for me, like, okay, just to give you an example, I'm a
Yeah.
scientist, and what makes me come alive is figuring out problems. So
Uh-huh.
that when I get a client and have like, oh, hi,
Hey,
Craig.
Craig.
If I get a client and they're like, I just have no idea what I want to do and where
Yeah,
do I take my skills, that's like the problem that gets me so excited. I'm like, we're going to figure this out. And that makes me come alive.
I love it.
Or I'm sure Anna is fine if Anna, you good if I share your Sparker type? Because it's so beautiful for her to see. Like, so she is a sage.
There we
Let's
go.
spark it up.
Change her life.
She's a
Okay,
sage,
good.
and you can see it in her eyes. Like for her, she comes alive and she shares knowledge. And you can just see her light up the instant that she gets to illuminate others and share her knowledge. So it's really that, what is it, that piece that makes you come alive, that makes you light up? Next part of the puzzle, your values and your motivations. What do you value? And when it is, let's say you value a good work-life balance, then if you have a company that allows you to have that work-life balance that you're seeking, it will motivate you to work hard. Or perfectly fine to be motivated by money, right? So if you value a high income and a company offers you that, it motivates you to work hard. So what is it that you value and motivate? And then the last piece, what are the working conditions you need to be happy? What are the ideal working conditions? So these are the 6 pieces that we first solve on the career compass to get all the ingredients someone needs for a fulfilling career. And then when we have all the ingredients, then we can cook a meal out of it. And we put it all together and feel like, okay, what is the career that aligns with everything that we just put on this piece of paper? And then when we have a clear idea of, okay, this is what you really want to be doing, makes the job search so much easier.
I love it. You're going to make me hungry. I love it. Yeah, just to recap, I've been writing all this down. Yeah, so finding your strengths, Gallup Strength Finders, your skills, what energizes and excites you, your interest, what areas are you interested in, what makes you alive. I love that. I'll have to definitely do that assessment because that's something that I want to check out, and I'll definitely share results with you and stuff like that.
Yes, you have to let me know.
I will. And then values and motivations. I love that. And then working conditions, environment. That's stuff that Anna and I, we talked about that in our last episode a few weeks back. So I love how all these little elements of clarity come together. You really focus on really building these out with your clients and with job seekers to really help them find that clarity. Now, let's say that you, I'm just gonna make sure I've got the comments here. Sage. Awesome. Let's say that you've got that job seeker, right? Because I mean, as we know, right, recently and now, we've got all these layoffs happening. We heard about Meta here recently, and just all these different things that are just going on right now, right? Let's say you've got a job seeker that maybe they were laid off recently, maybe they've been looking for work for some time. Maybe they're at that point where they're kind of stuck or they're stagnant, and they're like, I know I may know what I want to get into, but maybe I don't know what I want to get into, or maybe I know the kind of role I want to get into, but I don't know the kind of company or the kind of environment I get into. So how would you, when it comes with job seekers, how would you what would, I guess, be your recommendation as to like how can they kind of start, right? Like, if they're just stuck, how do you or what do you feel like they could do to really get that progression going, or that action happening, if you will, the progression moving, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, again, for me, it's all about clarity, because a lot of people are on the job market for so long and have such a hard time finding a position because they don't really know what they want to do. And I don't know if you can have that experience as a recruiter too, but when I was a recruiter and I had a candidate and be like, well, I have all these skills. Oh, hi, Julie. Great to see you.
Good to see you. Yes.
If you have a candidate who's like, oh, I'm good with people and I have lots of skills and I'm good with numbers and I can file and I can talk to people. And you're as a recruiter, yeah, but that's all great. But what do you want to do? And they're like, oh, I can do anything. It's really, really hard to place them and move them forward. But if you have someone come in and be like, okay, these are my skills, these are my strengths, and this is what I really want to do, and this is how it aligns with your company and the position, you're like, whoa, yes, hired. So the first step for me is get people to that place where they know, like, this is what I really want to do. So that shows throughout their whole job search. Now you have a LinkedIn profile that's streamlined, that screams exactly what you want to do. Like a recruiter lands in your profile and within 3 seconds they know like, oh, he or she is like the expert at recruiting or the expert at onboarding or the expert at philanthropy or whatever it is. So
Mm.
you don't leave anyone guessing. The second you land on your LinkedIn profile, the second you pick up your resume, it tells you them who you are and where you want to go. And that piece of clarity will take you really far in your job search. So yes, again, the first piece that I advise people is be clear of where you want to go.
Be clear of where you want to go. I love it. Be clear of where you want to go. Okay, cool. So let's say they're at that point, right? So they're clear. They're like, okay, boom, I know exactly the kind of role or the kind of roles I want to get into, right? Or I know they're the kind of responsibilities I want to do. I know the kind of company I want to do. So then what's the next step, right? So then they've got that clarity, right? They've got that
Yeah.
that that tune in, if you will. What would be next in that repertoire, if you will?
Maybe I'll add one more note to the step prior, because one thing that I get a lot on is, especially in our times right now where we see all these layoffs,
Yep,
people are really scared to narrow down. I don't know if you've seen that too, Phil, but a lot of people feel like I just have to take whatever comes my way because we are facing a recession. Companies are laying off people. Is it safe to say like, this is the only thing I want to do?
sure.
Shouldn't I just be like, I'll take anything? And I 100% get that fear and where people are coming from. So if any of you have that thought, it's a very legit thought. I still believe that your job search is going to be more successful if you're narrowed down what exactly you want to do. And
Hmm.
it's not saying like, okay, I say like you only want to be a recruiter. Maybe you say, okay, I want to do recruiting, talent acquisition, sourcing, maybe training and development. You can narrow it down to a smaller field, right? Or what is
Sure.
your experience with that, Phil?
Yeah, I think I definitely agree because I think if we think a lot about, or at least when I my in my perception of clarity, and Julie actually said something here in the comments. She said hardest part is
Yeah.
role. Yeah, hardest. I agree. The hardest part I think is really figuring out the role, the kind of position that we want to get ourselves into. I think that's commonly what I see too when I get job seekers. I get folks that reach out. They say, hey, I want to get back to work. I want to make something happen, and I was the same way, right? Like I started out in administration in my career, very very broad, and then I kind of focused into HR, and then that became recruiting, talent acquisition, and then that became leadership, and now talent development. And so I've organically throughout my career, I guess I've found clarity along the way, and I think
Yeah.
that's important. Also to note too is it's okay, especially for those folks who may be starting out in their career, or if they're at a place where they may have to pivot, for a short period of time. That's totally okay. But I think
Yes.
too, even having a broader role may be fine for sure. It just depends on your situation, but yeah, really, really, like you said earlier, I think defining the things that excite you. I think that's what I
Yes.
liked the most here. Like, what excites you in your career? Those energizers, those things that just when you get
Yes.
up in the morning, you're like, oh, I love doing
Yeah.
this thing.
Yes.
Same with you. Job
Because
description writing. I'm like, it's all right. It's okay. I'd rather talk to people all day and get to know
yeah.
them and help them, and hence the talent development side of what I love to do,
Yeah.
um, which is important. But yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that um, we all have unique talents and gifts and strengths, and I think that if we can really show that to this community and to those employers, and let's say we are pivoting, right? I want to ask you a question about that too, because we're seeing a lot of pivoting right now as well.
Mm-hmm.
Really defining those transferable skills is paramount. So I guess
100%.
too, like we talk a lot about pivoting, and a lot of job seekers have gone into different industries. They've gotten into different roles. Um, how does clarity It's going to be kind of an educated question, but that's okay. How does clarity, in your mind, how does that clarity intertwine with people that want to pivot, right? So, like, what are your thoughts about that, right? Because you get people that are like, okay, I want to go into a different industry, I want to do a different role altogether. So, how do you help, or how do you where do you see kind of clarity coming into the map, if you will,
Oh,
when you've got those pivoters that want to make a change in that kind of in that kind of regard? There we go.
great question. The first thing I wanted to get back to something you said, and I love that, is you said
Yeah.
something about being unique. And that's really what it comes down to with the clarity piece to me, because when you're in the job search, you need to be unique. You need to stand out in some way to actually get to a job offer. You can't be like everyone else. So if you have like the same, if you sound like everyone else, it's going to be much harder. If you're known for someone, if you're known for something, and you're unique for a reason, it's so much easier to actually get a job offer. So I love that you brought in the unique piece. And that's where the clarity piece comes in. If you clearly communicate, like, this is who I am, this is where I want to go, that makes you stand out.
Mm.
To your question about clarity when you're transitioning or changing careers, and that's the most clients I work with, they are doing. Most clients come to me and be like, I just hate. Thanks, Erica, for being here.
Yes.
Most clients come to me and say, I just hate where I am or where I was last. I didn't like this position. I was frustrated, unfulfilled, but I have no idea what I want to do next. Maybe it's a
Mm-hmm.
180-degree career change. I don't know what I want to do next, but it's not what I've done in the past. So every client, we pretty much start there of like, okay, we need a career. There's going to be a career change. So we start with the clarity piece that we just walk through, like finding the 6 pieces and figuring out where they want to go. And then we go back and see what are the skills that you've gained in the past that support that you're going to be a great fit for that career that we just identified. Let me give you an example. So I was working with a recruiter, since we were talking about recruiting a little bit. I was working a recruiter and she wanted to pivot into account management. So she didn't have any experience in account management. But when we were talking about, okay, what are the skills you need as an account manager? And have you done these skills and have you done these things in the past? It became quite clear that, yeah, there's a lot of things that she's done in the past that transfer over. And again, the best tool are job descriptions or job postings online. You look for the job postings that really speak to you, and then you go through and be like, okay, they're looking for someone to give presentations. Oh, she's done that as a recruiter. She gave tons of presentations. They're looking for someone to bring in sales. She's a sales recruiter. She had to sell to companies to bring in people to hire for them. She was an agency recruiter, so she had a lot of sales experience. So there are a lot of pieces that turn out that we can translate from the recruiting world into the account management role. And then if we use the job description, it gives us the language that they're going to be looking for. So we're staying very close to the language in the job description that we're targeting, but using the skills that she gained in her past.
Mm. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. And you make such a good point. I want to bring some comments up too. I know Erica had said this earlier. Teresa, Philip, Phil, they're so great to see you both live. Thank you so much for being
Thanks for
here.
being here.
Kapil, this is a great comment. This is my first
Aw,
time here. Love the energy on this compared to other sessions I've been on. Kapil, thank you so much.
thank
That
you.
means that made our
Yes,
day for sure. That is
totally.
that's why we're here, right? People ask us all the
Yeah,
time, like, why do we do lives like when we're so busy? And it's again, this is our time to give back to our networks, like truly, right? Like this is the
100%.
time where we can just get away from the grind, get away from the busy, and say, you know what? Let's just add value to this community, and do it in a way that's going to be fulfilling, but also to help people out because we're all going through something, and especially on the job search side, it's really hard to do
Yes.
a job search alone. And so we're here to support and to help for sure, both of us. This is awesome. Anna says Erica's back, of course. Yes, I know, right? Like I saw
I
Erica's
know. They're
post.
so happy. I
I saw her.
know. I was
I
the
saw
same.
her.
I'm like,
Yeah,
Erica, yeah.
I saw her post today. I was like, oh, I'm like, hey, wait a second, she's back. Yes, the wonderful Anna. I know. This is so great. And everybody is here, and that's so important about community and just this place and all
Yeah.
this stuff that we do. I love how you talked about like the job description piece. I want to dig a little bit deeper into that, right? So like let's say that you defined it so well, like really like looking at the job description and really like finding, finding transferable skills and things that that job description has. Where you're like, oh, well, I'm really good at doing that, or I'm doing this. Like, but let's say there's somebody that there's like all these, all these different job openings, right? So like,
Yeah.
how can a person, um, like I guess narrow down down that that research to really like get into that specific like I want to be an HR manager, or something. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. So the process I use, again, I have the career compass. So we're gonna have a page full of all the keywords that you're looking for in a job description. Hey, Brittany. Brittany is my cousin,
Oh,
or my
really?
husband's cousin. Yes,
Yeah.
so happy to
Thanks for
see you here, Brittany.
got
Thanks for
family
showing
in the
up.
house. I love it when we got family
Yes.
and friends and that's but
Yeah.
again, that's the thing about this place that is so powerful. Like there's
Yeah.
800, I'm sorry to like I go off a tangent, but there's over
No, you're
800
good.
million people on this platform. And when you
I
have
know.
that's why I love live so much though. Like this is truly why I love doing this because you can really bring in the community even more on just
Yeah.
so good for just thank you all,
Thanks.
seriously.
Thank you
All
all
right,
for
sorry.
being here.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
100%.
I'll
Okay, where
hush
were we?
up.
Job descriptions. Job descriptions. All right. So again, I start this my career compass that we talked about in the beginning of like what are your strengths, what are your skills, what are your values and motivations, where are your interests, what makes you come alive. So we have a page full of all the keywords that you need to be fulfilled and alive in a career. And then we go to Indeed and we plug in these keywords in Indeed and we see what job descriptions come up. And that's where I have my clients read job descriptions. So
Mm,
let's say, I don't have an example career compass in front of me, but let's say you want to be someone who is internet, like I have a client right now. She is just a total people person. She loves networking, connecting with others,
uh-huh.
storytelling, giving presentations. So these are the keywords that are on her career compass. So now we go to Indeed, we'll leave the location blank, but just plug in different combinations of these keywords that make her come alive. And then we see what job descriptions come up. And that's what exercise. So her homework then is to read through these
Mm,
job descriptions that come
mm.
up with her keywords and find the bullet points and the keywords that she's like, yes, that's exactly what I want to do. And that gives us more keywords till we get, and we keep going on that process till we get to the point where it's like, okay, these are the job descriptions that 75-80% are exactly what I want to be doing. And when we find a couple of those, then we take note of the job titles. And that's the process that I use to get like, okay, these are the jobs that really align with what you want to be doing.
Beautiful. There's one word that you said that I absolutely love. You know what that is? Homework.
No.
Homework.
Oh,
You,
yes.
homework. Like it's and it's and I think and I love it so much because when it comes to like coaching, we are here to help and empower and guide, but we're also here to have you understand your excitement, your needs and all that stuff and actually do some of the work because it's
Yes.
your career. So I think that's so amazing um that you said that because and I think it's important to have them do homework too because they're not only defining that clarity, right?
Yeah.
But they're also discovering that in themselves. We've got my friend Melanie
100%.
Pierce. Melanie, thank you for being here, friend.
Ah,
This is my struggle verbatim. I feel seen. Thank you.
oh, that's like,
Melanie and I, yeah, we used to work together in my last corporate role. I think she's still there though too. So it's such a pleasure to have
yes.
former coworkers and still current friends here. But again, I just this is what this is all
Yeah.
about. Like seriously, I love it. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. Okay, I
And
want
to
to.
add to
Yeah,
that, Phil,
yeah. Go ahead.
like, I mean, I'm sure you have that same experience as a coach. Like, if we take someone on as a client,
Yeah,
it's 100% is the goal to see them succeed.
thousand
So
percent.
if I have someone who comes to me and they want me to do all the work for them, it doesn't work, right? You actually need to someone who like like for me, if they just want any job and they don't really care, I'm not excited to guide them. But if they come to me like, I really want to figure out what I want to do, like I really, really want to be clear on my next career step, and you can see like how much they want it, that's what gets you excited as a coach. We're like, yes, I know I can help you get there, and this is what it's going to take for us to make that happen together. And I put my work in, they put the work in, and it pays off in the end. That's really the beauty of coaching.
Mm-hmm. It's a win-win, and
Yes.
I completely agree with you. It's truly being there to help them succeed along their
Yes.
path, their job search, their career. Because
Exactly.
you hear it all the time. We are the captains of our ship. We are the ones
Yeah.
that navigate and steer our ship and our career
True.
and in our journey in our life. We as coaches, we can't do that. We're here to help guide
No.
them. We're here to
Yeah.
help be empowering and supporting and fulfilling.
Yeah.
But no, that's super. That is
Yeah.
fantastic. I love it. I want to shift gears a little bit. So your business, Career Bloom. So I know you
Yes.
said earlier you currently live in Hawaii, which is amazing. I want to,
Mm.
I guess I want to know a little bit about that, but then also to tell the audience, like I'm always big on names and brands and stuff like that. So can you tell us a little bit about Career Bloom and the name behind it and the story behind your business and stuff? Because I absolutely love your content and
Oh,
just
thank you.
how personal you are in your work and stuff like that. It's incredible. So, but I love the audience to know as well.
Yeah, so Career Bloom is my company. It's I'm the founder and the career coach. And the Career Bloom name, when I started career, or actually, yeah, as I shared in the beginning, my story of like feeling so lost and feeling like I wasn't blooming. I was doing my job, but I
Mhm.
wasn't fulfilled. I was drained. I was unhappy, and I wasn't blooming. And on top of that, as you just said, I was living in Hawaii. So I'm living for me, it's the most beautiful place on earth. I'm living in this gorgeous place, but I'm working 50 hours a week that I hated every minute of it. Some days, some weeks were better than others, but overall, most of the time I was very, very miserable. And then I wasn't working and I was just so drained and exhausted. I was sitting on the sofa and not doing anything because I just didn't even have the energy to enjoy Hawaii. And that's kind of where I was like, this can't be life. Like, there has to be more to life than that. What is it that makes me come alive? And that's where my idea with the career bloom came from. Like, where's it that makes you come alive and have that spark and feel like you're blooming? So that's the story of how the name of Career Bloom came to be. And then again, it's my passion for helping others find that spark of what they really want to do. Because I was in such a dark place almost for so long, not knowing what it is and kind of just being like, I felt like, and you just touched on that, I wasn't really in charge of my career. I was like,
Mm.
okay, well, there's an opening for a promotion that seems to make sense, so I'll do that. I wasn't any happier. There was another opening for a promotion. Okay, yeah, I'm good at this. I can do that. Didn't make me any happier. Sending out random applications, didn't get anything because I didn't even know what I wanted to do and how to communicate that. So being so lost and not having any guidance, direction of where I really want to go was such a problem I was dealing with for so long. And because I've experienced that, that's why I'm so passionate about helping others now overcome that of like, okay, now I know what the process is to get you figure out what you want to do. It's so possible for you to find your answers and then actually make it happen. So
I love it.
knowing that it is possible is like what makes me do my work every day.
I love it.
And that's why Career Bloom is there.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Kapil says, "I can relate to this, though I don't live in the beauty that is Hawaii." Yeah,
Like,
the beauty that is
yeah.
Hawaii. I think I've gone to Maui. I think twice in my lifetime, and I went once when I was younger. I think I was like 10, and then once back in I think 2015, 2016, and it's just I love it. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's
I
awesome
know.
over there.
Off
Mm,
topic, but like in the back
mm-hmm,
of my head, like with all these amazing people we are meeting on LinkedIn, it's always like one
mm-hmm.
day I have to have like a career coaching retreat in Hawaii and bring this whole LinkedIn
Yes.
network out to visit me in Hawaii. It's gonna
We will
happen
be
one day.
we will be there. There's no question. We will if you do that, I will be there for sure. I will
All
come over
right.
there. Yeah, we need
It's
to.
gonna
That's
happen
awesome.
one day.
I love it. I love it. And I love how just you creating career bloom and stuff it's interesting, right? Because and I'm sure when it comes to clarity again too, I also think a lot of it has to do, yes, with our experience, but it also has to do with our journey and our path and our story. So how can job seekers um how can they, they have the clarity, they know what excites them. How can they share their story in a way that is different, right? And unique. We'll talk about the unique, word
Yeah.
again. How can they do that? So that like, when you've got those recruiters, you've got those hiring managers on LinkedIn or on resume, when they look at that or something, they're like, boom, okay, this person can do
Yes.
XYZ, yada, yada, yada. What are your thoughts on that?
So personal branding, right? That's a word that ties them out. Anna, of course, yes, you need to be there. Okay, we're gonna make this happen.
Yes. And my friend Lisa, thank you for being here,
Oh, hi, Lisa.
Lisa.
Um, okay, so yeah, personal branding. So once you have clarity, be like, okay, I know what I want to do. It's
Yep.
important to shape your message in a way that displays who you are, where you want to go, and that's your personal brand. So I love using your LinkedIn profile as a starting point of like being very, very, very mindful of what you put out there and how you describe yourself and where you want to go. So the first thing that we think about is like, okay, now we know what position you want to be at. Let's take as an example, what did I bring in before? Let's take account management as an example. So let's say you
Got it.
figured out like, okay, I want to be an account manager. Now, what is the problem that you're going to be solving in that role? And very specifically, I want you, and I'll have my clients think more specifically about what type of account management.
Mm-hmm.
But what is the problem that you're going to be solving in that role? So is it connecting the company you're going to be working for to other people, to customers and other maybe investors? Is it to bring in sales for the company? What is the problem that you really want to be solving? So let's say we're going to have your brand is around building relationships. So you're going to solve the problem of connecting the company with investors, customers, clients. So really building these bridges, building relationships. So now we know this is the problem you're going to be solving in your ideal future role. And that's what we're going to start it for your personal brand and designing and writing your entire LinkedIn profile. And we start with an exercise where I have them tell me, okay, imagine you're talking to a mentor. Tell them how your past experience has prepared you for this next career step, that you're going to be an account manager, solving the problem of building bridges, bringing people in, connecting people. How has everything you've done in your past prepared you for that role?
Mm.
And then obviously, once we have that story and it flows, then we clean it up, tighten it up, bring in tangible accomplishments, bring in the numbers of what they've done in the past. So it's a very clean and streamlined story. But that's my take on personal branding, because my career and most of the careers of people I talk to and work with, they're like roller coasters. We have some this, some
Mm-hmm.
here, some there, some there. So how do we tell a story that makes sense? And that's the way I use, like, okay, let's imagine, what is your story? And then once we have that story that flows, we tell that on their LinkedIn profile, and then obviously practice talking and explaining the stories for interviews or networking conversations.
Beautiful. Yeah, I love that, and I definitely that's such valuable advice and guidance, and I want to just recap what you said because it's huge. I mean, how to solve problems, right? When you're looking at a job description, you're looking at your story, right? Like helping the company to understand how you are going to be the problem solver, right? So like I'm going to say it on a
Yep.
recruitment perspective, right? Because I have the talent acquisition side. So when we post a role, if I'm working for a company and I'm recruiting, and I've got a job posting that I'm going to be putting on LinkedIn. I'm going to be doing it in a way that's unique, that's different, that's going to be good on the employer branding side, and not just say, "Hey, here's our next job posting. Reach out." Like we're going to talk about how our company's different, and it kind of goes both ways. I was on I was on a live earlier this morning with Annette Richmond at 11, and we talked a lot about branding on the employer side. So I'm going to bring a little bit of that
Nice.
into play. But we're talking about like how how the company is good for the job seeker. How are you, the job seeker, going to be good for that company? Because if the job
Yeah.
posting is out there, if there's a role that's actively posted, that company needs that account manager, or they believe that that role is going to help them solve a particular problem that they have. So there may be, like you said earlier, and I love how you had the connecting and the relationship side of that role, where it's like, hey, maybe we need more clients, or we need somebody to come in and really maintain some meaningful relationships that we have with our vendors or we have with our clients, right? And so we want somebody with, I'm being hypothetical, job description. We want somebody with, exceptional communication skills. We want somebody that is full of integrity. We want somebody that has experience, maybe some like sales or marketing experience or something like that. And so really seeing those on the job description, like you said earlier, that was so amazing and so like clear, bring clarity in the picture. But then tying that into your LinkedIn and your resume, like how can we define that? How can we define that you are the problem solver on those different, on your LinkedIn, on your resume? I take it a step further too, because some of the things that I love to do with fulfillment is to define that, and I'm sure you do with your clients too, is on even content creating, or if you're like commenting on LinkedIn, if you have a LinkedIn account, right? If you're
Yeah.
finding those companies that are looking for, those account managers, or if you're following businesses or following people that work at those companies or what have you, like, putting in comments, like what are things that you feel you would do at that company that might help
Yes.
them solve a problem, so that those people will remember what you say, and things like that. I think that's very important as well. Man, how
That's a
crazy.
great point, Phil. I have my clients always put together a list. I have a process of how to get to your top 12 companies that you
Cool.
want to pursue.
Uh-huh.
And then they go onto LinkedIn, as you were just saying, and look at the posts these companies put out there. I'm making up this number, but it seems to me like 99% of these company posts get rarely any engagement.
Right.
So if you're clear, like, okay, these are the 12 companies I'm going to follow on LinkedIn, and 2 or 3 times a week, I'm going to go and comment on their post, you stand out so much. Like, because you're one of the only 2 or 3 people commenting. Maybe they get 5 comments, but those aren't a lot of, they usually don't get a lot of attention, these posts. And I've had a handful of clients recently that got a job interview out of commenting on a LinkedIn post by a company.
Ooh, can you repeat that? That's huge for
Yes.
people. Yeah, could you say that one more time?
Yes. So get clear about what companies you would be really interested in
Mhm.
working in. Follow them on LinkedIn 2 or 3 times a week. Go on their LinkedIn profile page, see what they're posting, and obviously leave a value-adding comment to it. Not
Oh
just
yeah,
great posts, but write 2 or 3 sentences. What are your thoughts about that topic they're
yes.
posting? And you will stand out. Like, you
Oh,
will get noticed. I mean, obviously you're going to
yeah.
be the person posting the comment, replying to you is usually someone in social media marketing, but I've had a couple of clients do it recently, and that just spirals right into like, oh yes, we do have a job opening, here's who you should talk to. They take it to a private message, and boom, next thing that
Mm.
they have an interview.
And it's true.
So
It is great. It's like, absolutely,
yeah,
yeah,
and it's
because you,
like no one does it. It's,
yeah,
it's
yeah, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna piggyback on that. Follow company LinkedIn pages. If
yes.
the find that list of target companies. That's huge. But yeah, the step further, right here. Follow company LinkedIn pages. See what they're posting about, and
Yep.
comment and engage on their work, and what has you excited about their organization and
Yep.
what they're doing. Maybe they won, right? Maybe they won like a diversity, equity, inclusion, accolade, or
Yes.
maybe they won, like, you'll see sometimes, oh, the one of the best top best places to work in,
Yeah.
Honolulu, Hawaii, or Atlanta, Georgia, or whatever, right? Maybe
Right.
maybe their company as a whole has received some kind of
Yeah.
a recognition, right? That's huge, right? When you see that those organizations are winning something big, or maybe if they're going to like
Yes.
some kind of an event, if they do like a local event and it's open to, the public or something, like huge, huge, huge stuff. Like,
Yes.
follow those organizations. And I think, and
100%.
my friend Philip here, thank you for being here, Philip. He is awesome,
Yes.
awesome, 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 awesome friend of mine. great and his name's Philip, of course. So of course he's
Of course,
yeah,
he's
so awesome.
awesome.
Thanks for being here, Philip.
Yes,
But
thank you.
it is so important because I think and I say this a lot too, right? People are watching what you put out there, the
Hmm.
comments, what you engage on. Like
Yeah.
people recruiters. I mean, I know I am. I mean, I'm not like recruiting a lot right now, which was I'm looking to get back into full time recruitment. But when my recruiter hat's on, I mean, yeah, I look at people's comments on my work, but then
100%.
also also my other other
Yeah.
connections and their work, right? And if there's something that I resonate
Yeah.
with that maybe in a comment, it's like, hey, I'm gonna continue the conversation because I
Right.
think at the end of the day, it's all about those meaningful conversations and those meaningful connections. I love that. I love that. Let's say though, right? Let's kind of back up a step because I think this is also important, right? Um, let's say that we've got people out there that they know, hey, I want to follow LinkedIn company pages, I want to start on LinkedIn, I want to get out there and start engaging with folks. And let's say they haven't really started, maybe they're either new to LinkedIn or they're new in kind of the networking scene, if you will. What would
Yes.
your advice be, Theresa, for those folks that maybe are just getting started or they want to make things happen in that area?
No, that's a great question. And I know pre-recruiting for me, LinkedIn was kind of a foreign place. It was like, oh, this is just so very like I never thought there would be a community. It's just like, oh, there's like really, really smart people putting out really, really smart posts, and I don't really
Yeah.
belong there.
Right.
And I just put my resume up there, but that's it. But no, that's not what LinkedIn really is, right? There's amazing, like, just look at all the people here tuning in today. There's so many amazing people
Mhm,
here that you get to
mhm.
meet and connect with. So don't let, if you have that initial thought about LinkedIn that this is not the place for you, no, it is the place for you. You belong here. That's something that Anna would always say. I'm
Ooh,
borrowing that from Anna.
ooh,
Um,
mhm.
and then start with your profile. I know that can be overwhelming because there's so much you could be doing, but set your goal to do 3 things a day, for example. So day 1, upload a profile picture. Just look in the camera, smile, natural light if you can. Choose a headline that describes who you are and what you want to be doing, and start writing on your about section. Maybe the next day you read over it, continue your about section, and add a profile banner.
Oof,
And
mm,
that already gives you a basic of LinkedIn, right? You can, I would also recommend adding your filling in your skills section because that is often what recruiters search by.
mhm.
If you know someone who's on LinkedIn you worked with in the past, ask them for a recommendation, or even better, give them a recommendation, and then ask, like, oh, would you mind returning the favor? So now you have a basic LinkedIn profile. It doesn't have to be perfect yet. You can fill in your experience section, you can take that off your resume. So you have a basic LinkedIn profile. If you give yourself about a week to fill it out, it's going to be great. Even 3 days is going to be enough to put together a basic profile. And then as time goes on, you will refine it and you will redo it. And I keep redoing my profile over and over. So you too,
Like
yes.
every week, yeah. I do.
I
I
know
change.
exactly.
I change a headline every week. Well, not every week, but every once in a while.
Exactly.
I I love it. I love it. Yeah, just the profile picture, the headline, about section's big for me. I think
Yes,
what
it's
I
huge.
like. I love the about section, and I think too. I want to kind of tie the about section into the solving problem element that you brought in earlier when it came about, like the account manager role example. Like
Yeah.
the role is open to the role is open because they're wanting the company feels that role is going to help them solve a problem. So if you're an
Yes.
account manager, if you're looking for an account manager, put how you're going to solve a problem as an account manager in your
Exactly.
about section.
Yes. 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 100%.
I love
100%.
it. I
That's
love it.
like the LinkedIn profile is your personal brand. That's what I love about the LinkedIn profile. And that's why I spend a lot of time with my clients on it, because it's your personal brand. It's going to be the first impression in most cases a potential employer gets about you.
Hmm.
And you are 100% in charge of what you put out there. And it
Hmm.
so
Mm.
again, when you're first starting on LinkedIn, don't feel like this needs to be this. I don't want this to sound completely overwhelming where you're like, this is too much, I can't do it. Start with
Yeah,
small steps and do this over time.
love it.
But eventually, when you want to have your full LinkedIn profile, it all needs to come together. It is your brand. It it has to be like Like if you look on Phil's LinkedIn, it's like you're just like, oh my god, this is Phil, this is FulPhillment. I 100% get who he is and what he stands for. That's the feeling I want if someone lands in your profile too. And
I
again, as Phil,
that's the that's
like
the
not
fill
your brand, but their
that's
brand.
the that's the filling. I had to. I know. I'm sorry. I had to. But you
I
know,
love it.
and I definitely appreciate that. And I want to say, start small. That what you said earlier.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be perfect. That's one takeaway.
Yes.
But start small, right? If you upload a picture of yourself, that's a win. That's amazing. You did something.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. Start small
And
because
if
it
it's
doesn't.
not
Yeah,
perfect, well, 3 months down
yeah,
the road, you can improve it. So
yeah.
better to have fun that's good than having to taking a month to have no picture because you're waiting for that perfect one.
I love it. Oh, so great. So we are at 5 minutes to the hour, and so
How did this hour fly
I
by
have
this
no
fast?
idea. I have no idea. I could talk all day. We
I know.
we've got folks still on the live. I mean, we definitely appreciate everybody being here. I usually like to ask this final question to our guest speakers for the audience. For those who are watching live, thank you so much. For those watching the replay, we appreciate you. But Theresa, the final question that I always love to ask guest speakers on FulPhillment Live is, what's that one tip, right? If there's that key takeaway tip of advice that you could give the audience who are here now with us on the live, who are watching the replay, what would that tip be that you would want to give them?
Start with getting clarity of what you really want to do. Because the one thing I don't, if you are thinking about a career change or in a job search, I don't want you to go from a job that you don't like to another one that's not any better. Take a week or two to do a deep dive of really figure out what is it that you want to do? What makes you come alive? What are the skills that energize you? And what does the career look like that incorporates everything that you really want and need? And also know that it is out there. A lot of people get stuck there and think it's impossible to find it. No, you've got what it takes to get there.
Mm,
It is possible for you to find a fulfilling career. It is
mm.
possible for you to find a career that will make you happy. Start by defining what that looks like for you, and then let everything else follow from there.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And as a recruiter, I think for me as a recruiter, I want to put the hat on. I always, when I talk to every person, I always try to come up with one takeaway from that person. I think you
Yeah.
nailed it today, where I keep writing in my notes. I've got 2 pages of notes on our live. I write everything down. That's how I remember everything.
Awesome.
I have, alive. What makes you come alive? What makes you fulfilled? What just alive, 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 alive. I mean, that's what I will remember about this conversation. And that's just a huge takeaway message. Like, what makes you alive? And
Yes.
I also think too, just defining that clarity for what you want to do, taking that time, right? Giving yourself that grace and that time that you mentioned. And then just also, it is out there. Your role is out there. And I definitely would also say, yeah, don't give up on that because it is out there.
Yeah.
And you deserve to be alive in your next opportunity. And ask for
100%.
help. Ask for help. I mean,
Yes.
Theresa is huge in the clarity side, even more than I am. I do more of the other side. I do the resume, the LinkedIn. Interview prep is kind of my king. I like to really focus on getting those conversations out with those recruiters, hiring managers. But Teresa's definitely one of my all-time favorite clarity coaches out here
Oh,
on this platform.
thank
So
you.
please reach out to her. I'm
And
going to
that's like
show, yeah.
I
Oh
love
yeah,
how we complement each other because like I get
1,000%.
excited when I have a client come like I have no idea what I want to do next. I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah,
I'm so excited to work with you." If I have someone like, "Oh, I really want to be this is where I want to go next. Can you help me get there?" I'd be like, "I could, but let me send you over to Phil." Wait, you're on this side. Let
a
me send you over
thousand
to Phil.
percent.
He is like the most amazing coach in like making sure you're prepped for your interview, your LinkedIn, your resume. So love how we complement our
Oh,
coaching
thank
complements each
you.
other.
Oh no, I definitely agree. I appreciate that. Yeah, and that's the thing. There are a lot of coaches out here, and all of us. I say this all the time, right? I mean, there are a ton of coaches out here on LinkedIn, and we're all very unique, and we're all different. We all offer our unique ways of coaching and things like that. So, find a coach too. If you're stuck in your career, if you're stuck on your search, find a coach that suits you and find a coach that
100%.
wants your best, that wants your best interest. Thank you, Anna, too.
Thank
You're
you.
both
You're amazing
you are
too.
exactly, and I do wanna bring this out. So, Career Alive also is a LinkedIn Live show that Anna and Theresa both do, usually every weekday around 4 o'clock Eastern. So, I am very, very appreciative that Theresa, you came out on a week where you would usually do your Career Alive episode and be a guest speaker. Be on the other side and guest speak on FulPhillment Live. So
I'm
it's
happy
just
to
been
be
such a
here.
joy. Folks, we got a couple of updates and announcements, so please stay tuned if you're on the live. If you're in the replay, we're going to show you a couple things. So where can we find the lovely Theresa White? We've got her LinkedIn URL. Of course, she's tagged on our on this episode as well on my LinkedIn page under Theresa White, but we've got link www.linkedin.com/in/Theresa A
And
White. Yep. Yeah, go
any
ahead.
questions, feel free to shoot them my way. I'm happy to respond to anything that you want to know past this live, because I know it's in 1 hour we can answer everything. So any
Yeah.
questions that come up, connect with me, send me a message. I'm happy to respond.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And this live was definitely alive. That's for sure. It
Yes.
was an alive and a powerful episode. We've got her website as well. www.careerbloomcoaching.com. Career Bloom. If you search Career Bloom Coaching, you will find Theresa White. She has a free workbook called 5 Steps to Finding Your Top 10 Transferable Skills on her website. So if you go there, you can get that workbook. She's got a lot of amazing resources on her site. You can always, of course, reach out to her directly for any questions at all. She's incredible.
Thank
Just
you,
an
Phil.
incredible person. She also is on Instagram as well. So I want to show her Instagram page at Theresa_career bloom. So she does some social outside of LinkedIn as well. So her
Yes.
Instagram's there. And then, of course, our website, FulPhillment, www.fulfillment.com. That's where you can find me. And, of course, connect with me on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/Philip John Davis. So episode 31, right? So we just completed episode 30, which is amazing. I'm so honored and fulfilled and thrilled that you were my guest speaker for the 30th episode of
Thanks for
FulPhillment.
having me.
Of course. So episode 31 will be Thursday, the 17th of November. I can't believe we're
No, how is it November?
I
Middle of
know.
November almost.
I don't know. I have no idea. But we've got a lovely, lovely HR friend of mine coming on Thursday at 11 o'clock, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 Central, 8 Pacific. Um, we'll have announcements on that coming up early next week. We're going to talk a lot about HR efforts within the workplace and how HR can be um, a pivotal, department within your organization, within your company. So we've got that coming there. Also, too, stay tuned. I keep reminding people I'm launching my introductory career coaching course next
Hey,
week. So
woo!
yeah, so it was delayed a little bit, but we had some computer issues last week. So I will be finalizing everything this week here, and then we'll get that launched out next week. But that's how
Woo!
to
So excited.
so yeah, the title of it's going to be, of course, how to find fulfillment along your job search. So it's really going to be
Yes.
tailored around those job seekers who have that clarity. So at the point that they've got that clarity, but how can they really start progressing along their search and
Yeah.
get started along their job search, and find fulfillment along their job search. So that's coming out next week, and all that good stuff. But yeah, we are just so fortunate to have you here, Theresa. Thank you so much for being here. For those in the
Thank
audience,
you.
thank you all so much for those who are still here. For those who are going to watch the replay, I'm going to let this. I'm going to let our live episode, the post, I'm going to let it sit on my page the rest of the day today. So for those folks who want to listen to the replay, just click on my most recent post on my LinkedIn page, and you'll have access to the LinkedIn Live that was very much alive here. So,
Yes.
Julie, thank you so much for being here as well.
Yes.
Everybody,
Thank you,
seriously,
everyone, for
it's
being here.
and we could not do these without you. Truly, thank you,
Right.
Philip, as well. I mean, truly, this is it's really you all listening and tuning in that we have to thank, because we would not be doing these if it wasn't for you and just the amount of feedback we've been getting on continuing these lives. So thank you all truly for your support. And your kindness. So Teresa,
Yes.
thank you, friend. We are just I could talk all day.
I
We
know.
got meetings going on here, but thank you for just tuning in while you've been with family. So go have fun with your family and stay
Thank
safe down
you.
there. I know it's been kind of crazy. So
We'll weather the storm. It'll be good.
yeah, yeah, we're getting some rain. I think it. Oh, it's starting a little bit, but yeah,
Oh
it's coming.
yeah.
That'll be all
Okay.
right though. So awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we'll take care, everybody. We will see you all soon.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye.
Bye.